The buzz of my old flip phone shattered the quiet afternoon in my modest RV park in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was elbow deep in fixing a leaky faucet for my neighbor, old Mrs. Hernandez, who lived on Social Security, just like everyone thought I did. Sweat dripped down my brow under the relentless desert sun, my calloused hands twisting a wrench with the precision of 30 years as a plumber. At 59, retired and supposedly scraping by, this was my life, simple, unassuming, the kind where folks pitied you but respected your grit. I wiped my hands on my faded jeans and fished the phone from my pocket. The screen lit up with a text from my son, Derek. My heart skipped a beat. He didn't reach out much these days. Not since he'd climbed the corporate ladder in Denver. Maybe it was good news about the grandkid on the way. I opened it, and the words hit like a cold splash of water. Dad. Sarah and I just closed on a $750,000 house. Mortgage is steep, but your generation sat on all the wealth while we hustled. Time to chip in, liquidate some of that nest egg you've got stashed. Family first, right? I stared at the screen, the wrench slipping from my grip and clanging against the porch. Mrs. Hernandez peered over her glasses. Everything all right, Frank? I nodded absently, mumbling something about family stuff, and finished the job in a daze. Nest egg? He thought I had a pittance saved up, maybe enough for a rainy day. He had no clue about the battered laptop tucked away in my RV. The one that held the real story, a portfolio I'd built brick by silent brick over decades, now sitting at $3.2 million. Walking back to my spot. Lot 27. A 1992 camper I'd snagged for $6,500 cash 10 years ago. My mind raced. Derek saw the surface, the rusty Ford pickup with 280,000 miles, the thrift store flannels, the way I haggled over every penny at the local supermarket. He didn't know about the early mornings I'd spent poring over financial statements, the sacrifices that turned pennies into fortunes. And now this, a demand, not a request, like I owed him for existing. Inside the RV, the air was stuffy. Thermostat locked at 76 degrees to keep the electric bill under $35 a month. I sank into the worn recliner, the phone still clutched in my hand. Grief mixed with anger bubbled up. I'd raised him alone after his mom, Elaine, passed from a heart condition when he was just a kid. We'd been a team, or so I thought. I remembered the nights we'd shared ramen noodles, laughing about our adventures in frugality. But somewhere along the way, as he soared, college on my dime, a tech job pulling $110,000, a wife with a solid career in education, he'd forgotten the ground floor. I typed back, fingers trembling. No.
Simple as that.
Hit send. The response came fast. Dad.
Come on.
Sarah's expecting. We need this. You've always been the rock. Then another. I know you've saved something. Don't make this hard. Each ping felt like a jab, exposing how he viewed me not as dad, the guy who'd skipped vacations to fund his dreams, but as a fallback ATM. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the Sandia Mountains, painting the sky in fiery hues, I opened the laptop. The screen glowed with Vanguard accounts, index funds compounding quietly since the 90s. It started small, back when Elaine and I were newlyweds in a cramped apartment in Santa Fe, scraping by on my $28,000 salary and her part-time gig at a bookstore. We dreamed big for Derek, vowing to break the cycle of paycheck to paycheck living our parents had endured. Elaine had been the spark. One night, after bills left us with $40 to spare, she grabbed a notepad. Frank, if we cut the extras, dinner's out. That premium cable, we could invest $100 a month. At 8 to 10% returns, it'll snowball. I scoffed at first, But her math was sound. We downsized everything, generic brands, library books instead of buying, picnics over restaurants. Derek was 3 then, oblivious to the belt tightening. By year 1, we'd socked away $1,200 into mutual funds. It felt like magic, watching it grow. But life threw curves. Elaine's health declined rapidly, a congenital heart issue doctors missed until it was too late. Treatments drained us emotionally. But I refused to touch the investments. "This is for Derek's future," she'd whispered in her final weeks. "Promise me." I did. And after she was gone, I doubled down. Overtime shifts, side gigs, snaking drains for cash under the table. Every extra dollar fed the beast. Derek and I moved to a tiny duplex where he thrived despite the hardships, earning scholarships that eased the load. By his high school graduation, the account hit $150,000. I paid his community college tuition outright, then transferred him to University of Colorado without loans. He graduated debt-free, landed internships that turned into a cushy job. Meanwhile, I retired early, bought this RV outright, and kept the facade of modesty. The portfolio ballooned, real estate flips on the side, CDs for safety, reaching millions. I'd planned to reveal it all when he started a family. A grand surprise to secure his legacy. But not like this. Not with entitlement dripping from every word. I closed the laptop, the weight of betrayal settling in. How had my boy, the one I'd poured everything into, turned into this? The desert night cooled, stars piercing the sky like accusations. I sipped black coffee from a chipped mug, pondering my next move. Tomorrow, I'd drive to Denver. This wasn't ending with texts. The road to Denver stretched like a ribbon through arid plains, my Ford humming steadily despite its age. I rehearsed words in my head, calm, firm, laced with the love that still burned beneath the hurt. Derek's house loomed in an upscale suburb, manicured lawn, 2-car garage. The American dream on steroids. He opened the door, surprise flickering across his face. "Dad, what are you doing here?" "We need to talk. Face to face." Sarah hovered in the background, her belly rounding with their first child, a girl they'd named after Lane. We sat in their sleek kitchen, granite counters gleaming under pendant lights. Derek fidgeted, avoiding my eyes. "About the text."
I didn't mean it to come off like that.
"Oh, how did you mean it?" I leaned forward, voice low but steady. He rambled about housing prices, baby costs, how millennials got screwed by boomers hoarding wealth. "You live so simply, Dad. I figured you had some savings tucked away. It's not like I'm asking for a handout, it's family helping family." I let the silence stretch, heavy as the mountains outside.
Then,
slowly, I pulled out a folder from my bag, printouts of statements, deeds to rental properties I'd quietly acquired in Albuquerque. "You figured wrong, son. Take a look." His eyes widened as he scanned the numbers. $1.9 million in stocks, $800,000 in real estate equity, $500,000 in bonds.
This
Can't be real.
How?
You live in an RV park.
By choice.
By sacrifice. Every overtime hour, every skipped luxury, it was for you. For this moment. Or what I thought it would be. Tears welled in his eyes. But so did confusion. Why hide it? Why pretend to be poor? Because wealth isn't about flashing it. It's about security. About teaching values. And you demanded it like I owed you. The room thickened with emotion. Sarah excused herself quietly, leaving us to unpack decades of unspoken truths. Derek slumped, whispering apologies that echoed hollow at first. But as the sun set, something shifted, a crack in his armor, A glimpse of the boy who'd once idolized me. That night in Denver. Sleep evaded me on their guest room bed, too soft compared to my RV's lumpy mattress. Memories flooded. Derek's first bike. A second-hand Schwinn I'd refurbished after extra shifts, his prom, where I'd sewn a button on his suit myself to save on tailoring, the day he got his acceptance letter. And we celebrated with homemade pizza, because that's what we could afford, or so he thought. By morning, the air was thick with unresolved tension. Sarah made breakfast, eggs, toast, fresh fruit that probably cost more than my weekly grocery run. Derek sat across from me, dark circles under his eyes.
Dad.
I get it now. I was an ass. But we're in deep here. The mortgage is $4,200 a month. With the baby, Sarah's taking time off. We might lose the house. I sip my coffee, black and strong like always. That's the point, son. Consequences. You bought assuming I'd bail you out. What does that say about how you see me? He hung his head, murmuring about pressure from work, societal expectations. Everyone's got debt. It's normal. But family steps up. Not like this. Family respects boundaries. We talked for hours, peeling back layers. I shared stories he'd never heard, how Elaine and I skipped our honeymoon to seed the fund, the Christmases where I wrapped thrift finds like treasures, the loneliness after her death. Channeling grief into relentless saving. It wasn't just money. It was a promise to her for you. Derek's voice cracked. I miss Mom too. But I thought you were okay. Dad. You never complained. That's when it hit. The facade I'd built to protect him had backfired, making him blind to my humanity. Sarah joined, her hand on his shoulder. Frank.
He's sorry.
We both are. But what now? I don't know yet. I left that afternoon. The drive back to Albuquerque a blur of introspection. The Sandia Peaks loomed like judges as I gripped the wheel. Had I been too harsh? Was teaching a lesson worth fracturing our bond? Back in the RV park. Routine resumed, helping neighbors, clipping coupons. But the peace felt shattered. 2 days later, my phone rang. Derek.
Dad.
Can we meet halfway? Santa Fe, maybe. I agreed. We convened at a diner off I-25, the kind with vinyl booths and bottomless coffee. He looked wrecked, suit rumpled. I've been thinking. You're right, I took you for granted. Assumed because you're Dad. You'd fix it. But I need to own this. Progress. But words were cheap. Show me. Then.
How?
He outlined plans, selling one car, cutting subscriptions, even considering a side hustle. And I want to learn from you. About investing. About living smart. We spent the afternoon there, me sketching basics on napkins, compound interest, index funds, the power of no. For the first time in years, it felt like father and son, not benefactor and beneficiary. But the plea lingered.
Dad.
Even with changes, we're tight. Just a loan? I'd pay back. I shook my head. Not yet. Earn it through change. Driving home. Doubt gnawed. Sarah's call came that night. Frank. It's me. Derek's beating himself up. And honestly, I'm scared. The baby's due soon. And this stress. Her voice trembled, pulling at my heartstrings. Sarah was innocent in this, kind, grounded, the glue holding Derek steady. She'd baked pies for me on visits, listened to my plumbing war stories.
Now,
pregnant and vulnerable, she bore the brunt. I didn't know about the money. But more than that, I didn't know how much you've sacrificed. We talked late. Her sharing fears of instability, me wrestling with principles. If I help now, does he learn?
She paused.
Maybe helping with conditions teaches forgiveness too. The call ended, leaving me staring at the RV ceiling. Elaine's photo on the nightstand. What would she say? Love him enough to guide, not just give. The next week dragged. No contact. The silence a test of wills. I busied myself with park chores, but thoughts circled. My grandchild entering a world of strife because of pride, mine and Derek's. Then, a knock on my door. Not Derek, but Sarah's father.
Tom.
A retired teacher from Colorado Springs. Frank, mind if we chat? We sat on my tiny porch, beers in hand as dusk fell. Tom was straightforward. Sarah filled me in. The money. The fight. You're teaching a lesson, I get it. Raised 3 kids myself. He shared parallels, his own son blowing inheritance on bad bets. Learning the hard way. But sometimes, the lesson scars more than it heals. We debated late, respect versus rescue. Entitlement versus empathy. Derek's good at heart, Tom said. But he's lost perspective. Cutting him off might push him away forever. As stars emerged, I confessed my fear. Bailing them out enables, but withholding punishes the wrong people. Tom nodded. Find middle ground. Help, but make it conditional on growth. His words lingered after he left. I paced the RV, flipping through old photos, Derek as a toddler, Elaine beaming. The fund was her legacy, meant for joy, not leverage. By dawn, resolve formed. I'd help, but on my terms, blending mercy with wisdom. Midweek, I texted Derek, come to the park this weekend. Alone. He arrived Saturday, looking humbled in jeans and a tee. Not his usual polish. We walked the gravel paths, past trailers humming with life.
Dad.
I'm ready to listen. I led him inside, opening the laptop. This isn't just money. It's years of choices. We reviewed statements, me explaining strategies honed over decades. His awe turned to regret. I never asked about your life.
Assumed you were content being
simple. Simple doesn't mean poor. It means intentional. The conversation deepened. His pressures at work, fears of failing as a dad. I wanted the house to prove I'm successful. But I screwed up with you. Tears came then, raw and real. Forgive me? I hugged him. The first in years. Forgiveness is earned, but love's unconditional. We mapped a plan. He'd downsize non-essentials. Attend financial classes. Visit weekly, not for money. For connection. As he left, hope flickered. But the mortgage loomed. Sarah's update call. He's changing.
Frank.
Budgeting like you taught. Still. Strain showed. My internal battle raged. Principles versus family harmony. A month passed. The New Mexico heat giving way to crisp fall winds. Derek kept his word. Weekly calls turned to visits. Not pleas, but genuine talks about work, the baby, even asking about my plumbing days. He'd sold his luxury watch. Funneled proceeds to debt. Sarah reported budgets tightening, but spirits lifting. He's reading investment books you recommended. It's like seeing the old Derek. The one before success clouded him.
Yet.
Whispers of trouble reached me. A mutual friend mentioned overhearing Derek at a barbecue. House payments are killing us. But Dad's making a point. Pride swelled. I was teaching resilience. But when Sarah called mid-month, voice strained, reality hit. Frank. The doctor's worried. Stress is elevating my blood pressure. Nothing critical. But with the baby. Guilt twisted like a wrench. My lesson risked health. Innocence. That night, I revisited the portfolio, now $3.25 million. Dividends rolling in. Elaine's voice echoed. It's for family,
Frank.
not punishment. Dawn brought clarity. Help selectively. Foster growth without enabling. I drove to Denver unannounced, arriving as leaves swirled in their driveway. Derek opened the door, surprise melting to warmth.
Dad.
Come in. Sarah, glowing despite fatigue, hugged me. Over coffee. I laid it out. I've seen change in you, son. Real effort. So, here's the deal. I'll cover 3 months' mortgage. Breathing room. But in return, you commit to counseling, financial and family, and monthly check-ins on progress. Derek's eyes misted. That's more than fair. Thank you. Sarah squeezed my hand. You're saving us. But I clarified, not saving, guiding. The rest is on you. We spent the day planning. Apps for tracking expenses. Workshops on wealth building. Derek shared vulnerabilities. Success made me arrogant. Forgot roots. I nodded. Roots ground us. Uproot them, and you fall. Back home. Peace settled tentatively. Visits increased. Derek helped around the park, fixing fences, chatting with residents. These folks have stories, he'd say. Eyes opened. One evening, as we grilled burgers, generic. Of course, he confessed. I get it now. Your life isn't poverty, it's freedom. The baby's due date neared, tension mixing with excitement. Sarah's mom, Linda, visited me unexpectedly, echoing Tom's earlier role. Frank, Sarah's thriving, but whispers of resentment linger in Derek. He feels emasculated. We talked under stars. Her perspective maternal. Men like him need to feel capable. Your help empowered. But the initial rejection stung. Her words prompted reflection. Had my no been too absolute? Balance was key. I called Derek. Proud of your strides. Let's amp it. I'll match savings you build over 6 months. Motivation sparked. He dove deeper. Side-gigging freelance coding. Thanksgiving arrived. Our first together in years. Their house, once a symbol of excess, felt warmer, clutter cleared, focus on essentials. Over turkey, Derek toasted. To Dad, who taught me wealth is character, not cash. Laughter flowed, but undercurrents remained. Sarah pulled me aside. He's changed, but fear's slipping back. Your influence is everything. Post-holiday, a setback. Derek's firm downsized, slashing bonuses. Panic texted. Dad. This throws everything off. Temptation to rescue surged. But I held firm. Adapt. You've got tools now. He did, negotiated severance. Hustled gigs. Growth evident. Winter blanketed Albuquerque in rare snow. Christmas approached. I pondered the ultimate gift, not money, but revelation. Derek visited solo, bearing homemade cookies from Sarah. We sat by my space heater, reminiscing. Mom would be proud of you, he said. Of us both. I handed him an envelope. Not cash, but access codes to a trust-I'd set, $500K for the grandkids' education. Vested on milestones like Derek's continued responsibility. This isn't bailout. It's legacy. Earn it daily. Tears streamed. I don't deserve this. Deserve? It's love. Son. Conditional on respect. Our bond strengthened. Forged in fire. But life tested anew. Sarah went into early labor mid-January. Complications arising. Hospital calls frantic. Dad. We need you. I raced north. Arriving as little Elaine entered the world, tiny. Fighter like her namesake. Holding her. Emotions overwhelmed. Derek.
Exhausted.
Whispered. Thank you for everything. For not giving up. In the quiet ward, We talked futures. I'll teach her what you taught me, he vowed. I nodded, heartful. The lesson landed, not through denial, but demonstration. Spring bloomed, family rhythms normalizing. Derek's job stabilized, budgets held. Visits became ritual, picnics in the park, where he'd marvel at my empire. Hidden in plain sight, he'd laugh. One sunset walk. He asked, regrets?
Dad.
I pondered.
None.
Pain birthed wisdom. He hugged me. Love you. Simple words. Profound impact. The saga closed not in triumph, but quiet victory, respect restored, entitlement shed.
Yet.
Questions lingered. When does tough love cross into cruelty? How thin the line between teaching and tearing? As summer heat returned to the southwest, our renewed connection faced its first real trial. Derek called one evening, voice edged with desperation.
Dad.
The AC unit in the house died. Repairs $5,000 we don't have right now. Can you? I paused, coffee mug midway to my lips. The old me, the one before the tech storm, might have wired funds instantly. But growth demanded boundaries. Son, remember our plan? Dip into the emergency fund you've been building. Silence stretched. It's not enough yet. Sarah's back at work part-time, but with daycare. Excuses, veiled pleas. I felt the pull, the grandfatherly urge to shield.
Yet.
Enabling lurked. Then prioritize. Shop quotes. Negotiate payments. You've got this.
He sighed.
Frustration bubbling. Easy for you to say. With millions stashed, there was the resentment flicker. Not easy. Earned through choices like this. Hang in there. The call ended tensely. Echoes of our initial clash. Sarah texted later. He's upset, but working on it. Thanks for pushing. Progress. Incremental. They fixed the AC via a loan. Repaid swiftly through Derek's gigs. Lesson reinforced. Self-reliance breeds confidence. Family gatherings evolved. Birthdays at the RV park, where neighbors regaled Derek with tales of thrift. He absorbed. Applying. Cut cable today. Dad. Streaming's cheaper. Pride swelled. My boy was transforming. But shadows loomed. A promotion offer for Derek involved relocation to Seattle. Higher pay but steeper costs. What do you think? He asked over video call. Baby Elaine cooing in background. Weigh pros. Stability versus uprooting. He chose to stay. Valuing roots over riches, a echo of my values. Learned from the best. Fall brought introspection. I updated the portfolio. Now, $3.4 million. Adding trusts for future grandkids. Visits deepened. Derek shadowing my investments. Notebooks filled. Mind blown. Dad. How'd you start so small? With Elaine's vision. $1 at a time. Sharing her stories bridged generations. Healing old wounds. Thanksgiving redux. Gratitude flowed freely. Derek confessed. That text? Worst mistake. But best teacher. We clinked glasses, mine water. His soda. Budgets in mind. Winter holidays sparkled modestly. Gifts handmade. Memories prioritized. Elaine's first Christmas. Joy unmarred by excess. New Year dawned with resolutions. Derek's. Build my own empire. Your way. Mine. Loosen reins. Trust the process. Spring surprise. Derek's side hustle boomed. App development netting extras. Paying down mortgage faster. Pride mutual.
Yet.
A curveball. Sarah's job cut hours post-pandemic shifts. Strain resurfaced. Call came. Dad. Not asking for money, but advice. Growth evident. We brainstormed. Side jobs for her? Refinancing. Crisis averted through collaboration. Summer family trip. Not exotic, but camping in the Sandias, echoing my youth with Derek. Around the fire. Stories shared. My early struggles. His recent awakenings. Baby Elaine toddled. Symbol of fresh starts. As stars wheeled. Derek mused, wealth's not the goal, wisdom is. I nodded. Heart content. The journey's end? Not really, life's ongoing. But the conflict birthed unbreakable bonds, proving love's toughest form, principled guidance. Word count, 512, wait. This seems short, let me expand to reach 1,000. Wait. Recalculating, original draft was shorter, adding depth. Midsummer. Another layer unfolded. Derek confided marital strains. Sarah feels I dragged us into this.
Blames me ego.
Honesty raw. I advised. Communicate. Own faults. Heal together. They sought counseling. Emerging stronger. Your tough love saved our marriage too, Sarah said later. Fall harvest. Derek's promotion came sans move, negotiated locally. Salary bump eased burdens. Investing the extra. Dad. Like you taught. Winter reflection. Portfolio review with him present. Someday. This is yours, but earned through living right. Holidays heartfelt. Gatherings blended thrift and warmth. New challenges arose. Baby health scare. Minor but scary. Community rallied. My discreet help via advice. Not cash. Resolution solidified. Respect reigned. Entitlement banished.
Yet.
The moral lingered, when to hold firm, when to yield. Family's delicate dance. Years blurred into a tapestry of growth. The initial shock of that text fading like an old scar, visible but no longer painful. Derek's transformation was complete, his own portfolio budding. House payments manageable. A second child on the way. Visits to the RV park became tradition. Kids playing in the dust where I'd once plotted financial escapes. One crisp autumn day. As we sat on my porch watching the grandkids chase lizards, Derek turned serious.
Dad.
I've been thinking about inheritance. Not asking, just wondering how you planned it. I smiled. Sipping coffee. It's set in trusts. Vests on milestones, financial literacy courses. Responsible living. Not a windfall. A tool. He nodded approvingly. Smart. Keeps the lesson alive. Sarah joined. Baby bump prominent. Frank. You've given us more than money perspective. Reflection hit. My secret empire, born of loss and love, had served its purpose. Not hoarding, but harnessing for impact. Challenges persisted. Economic dips tested Derek's resolve. But he navigated with tools I'd imparted. Downturn?
Diversificate.
Echoing my mantras. A milestone birthday, my 65th. They surprised me with a modest party. No extravagance. Gifts, a new laptop for your empire management. Handwritten letters of gratitude. Derek's read aloud. You didn't just save money. You saved me from myself. Tears flowed. Bonds unbreakable. As grandkids grew, I shared stories. Grandma Elaine's calculator dreams. Our frugal foundations. Wealth is choices, I'd say. They listened. Wide-eyed. Derek's career peaked. Executive role. But grounded. Decline the bonus trip. Invested instead. Pride immense. Final twist. Health scare, my own. Minor heart flutter. Echoing Elaine's fate. Hospital bed. Derek by side. Dad. Let us help now. Roles reversed. But mutual respect guided. Advice only, I insisted. He laughed, stubborn as ever. Recovery strengthened us. I downsized further. Gifting rentals to trusts. Your legacy, Derek said. Sunset years, peace profound. Watching family thrive. Secret revealed, not in anger, but evolution. The central question lingered. Does withholding teach? Or does grace transform? In our story, both, woven with love. What price for wisdom? For some, a demanding text. For others, a lifetime's hoard. Ponder that, as stars will eternal. Decades echo. Grandkids now teens. Derek mentoring them in finance. Grandpa's way, they call it. One evening, a parallel. Eldest grandkid's college loom. Derek's text to me. Advice on funding? Not money, just wisdom. Cycle complete. Request with respect. My response. Come over. We'll plan. Family dinners. Laughter. Lessons shared. Final days. Portfolio transferred. But true inheritance, values. As I fade. No regrets. Shock births salvation. Moral. Entitlement erodes. Respect rebuilds. How would you navigate?